Welcome to Cosmic Roadmap. I'm your host, Melissa Lambor, Reiki Astro Guide and author. I support endless wanderers with where they are meant to be in the world. This podcast is for the digital nomad, the avid traveler, and aspiring globetrotter who is seeking their next destination on planet Earth. Join us as we venture around the world through people's stories and how astrogeography has connected them to their planetary energies and purpose. My special guest is Michelle Badagliacca, and she is a female empowerment coach, Reiki master teacher, women's circle facilitator, founder of Sisterhood, a monthly women's membership for spiritual women, and the host of Soul Over Matter podcast. She loves to travel, connect with people, and be in nature as much as she can. She's a lifelong student, living life unapologetically. And we met through one of our mutual friends and my Legacy Speaks co-author, Ligia Leite. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Melissa, for having me. I'm so excited for our connection and our conversation today.
Yes, I'm excited for you to tell me a little bit about your connection with astrogeography. Since our session, I know that you've been traveling and moving around and starting your own adventure. So yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so you shared how we met through Ligia, and I had dabbled in astrogeography maybe like 2 years ago. I heard about it and then I put my astro chart on the website and I'm looking at all these lines. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool, but it just seemed so abstract to me. And I kind of put it on the back burner. When you came into my frequency, I was like, oh, this is really cool. I get to check this out. As I was going through a big transition in my life, leaving my partnership, leaving a life that wasn't serving me anymore and I had outgrown. And the call for traveling has always been in the back of my mind. I grew up in New York City. My parents didn't really travel that much. We did a lot of car road trips and vacations, within the states around New York, which was amazing growing up. But the travel bug really started hitting me about 6 years ago. And I had gone to places in the US. I'd gone to Sedona, I'd gone to the Grand Canyon, and just being out in nature after growing up in New York City, concrete jungle, it really opened my eyes to so much. And I didn't realize how much of a free spirit I really am. So as I was moving through this transition in the summer, you popped into my mind. I was like, okay, it was almost like the world is my oyster. Where do I go? I have so many options. What am I going to do? Where is my spirit calling me to? And I just wanted some direction. I wanted some focus of where my energies would align with certain parts of my life and where would I best be served to be. So yeah, I think we had our session in September.
I believe
I think
so, yeah.
It was like, it was right before I left my partnership. It was, I think, right around that time. You just gave me clarity on parts of this journey. I'd been called to New Mexico all my life. That was, I remember writing that in the session form, that New Mexico was always calling. I remember being in 5th grade doing a Navajo tribe project and you remember the book covers?
Yes.
For reports. I remember creating the Navajo letters and the turquoise and just feeling very called to it. And I didn't know why. And now it's okay, past life remembrance, that connection, even at the tender age of, being a 5th grader, that energy was there. And then you opened my eyes and said, hey, you do have a couple of lines here.
Right. The planetary energies were calling you ever since you were a child. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just made sense. So I'm at the beginning of this journey so far of traveling the US and solo traveling, but it's been exciting, and it's been an eye opener for me to have some clarity and focus around it.
I love that. And you did mention that you were almost in a transition period. And a lot of my clients that come to me are in that transition period of, retiring, or they're getting out of a relationship. And how does that go along with your spiritual journey too? Because I'm guessing that this is more of a spiritual journey while you're traveling too, going deeper within, and also connecting with your planetary energies.
Yeah. So my spiritual journey, I've always been tapped in to a certain extent. Even growing up in New York City, I had a lot of experiences growing up, supernatural experiences, just being very empathic, but not knowing really what to do with it. So I shut off my powers, which a lot of us do, right? We shut off our gifts for protection as we're growing up and experiencing this human life. And when I moved to San Francisco in 2018 with my now ex-partner, I had an awakening. Reiki found me. I always say Reiki finds us when we're ready for it. And Reiki found me, and I didn't really know many people in San Francisco. But after that one session of Reiki, I then became certified, and downloads just started getting stronger. I really started opening up to my gifts. I started facilitating women's circles in San Francisco. I started, spiritual coaching and doing healing sessions for Reiki for clients in person, virtually, and just really awakening, that dark night of the soul of having a job that's not really aligned anymore. I was a speech therapist, and just learning to set boundaries and reclaim my power. And then I moved to Denver during the pandemic, and kind of felt like I was in this uphill battle. And you confirmed that as well. And I'll share about that. But I
Yeah.
felt kind of stuck in my life. I felt, okay, I'm doing offerings, I'm creating, Reiki certification courses. I have a monthly women's membership. I'm still doing part-time speech therapy because it lights me up. And there was something missing. There was a stagnancy, and I didn't really know what it was, right? And now I come to find out, okay, it was a partnership that, I grew through so much in, and helped me so much on my journey. And I thank my ex-partner so much for his time in my life and his energy in my life. And just knowing that I had to leave, like Mother Earth was actually calling me. He was calling me. I've always been so deeply connected to the trees, to the land, to the ancestry. And I teach this to my clients as well, of really connecting back with nature, because we are nature. And if we're disconnected from ourselves, if we're not grounded in our own purpose and our own energy, we can't really show up in the world the way we're meant to. And when we connect with nature, we connect with ourselves. So I began hearing this voice. I began hearing this voice actually pre March 2020. And now the vision that I was having pre March 2020 is what I'm now doing, this solo journey. But, the pandemic happened, and human experiences happened, and I put it on the back burner. And as we know, the nudges get louder, the knocks get louder, right? The niggle keeps nudging us until we answer it. And I just had to go. I had to leave. And I remember, it's funny, I'm just now remembering this. I was looking up New Mexico Airbnbs in July. I don't know
Yeah.
why. There was something I was like, New Mexico, you have to go, you have to go.
Even before our sessions. Yeah. Yeah.
Even, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
even before
Mm-hmm.
our session. So I really feel I've always had, this calling, this free spirit, this trailblazer, momentous energy to me. And it was unlocked really this summer, like right before our session together. It just was getting louder and louder and louder of, Michelle, the earth wants you to do Reiki with her. She wants you to bring healing to these places that, people don't see her worth, right? I'm a person that walks by a tree, and it gives me its name, right? I say hello to the flowers. I bless the land. I gift the land crystals and essential oils, because we're all connected. So yeah, it is a spiritual journey. It's, I guess, my eat, pray, love, right? Of
Yeah.
just traveling and experiencing. I'm a connector. I love people. And over the last almost 2 years, it's been difficult to connect. I used to facilitate circles of 20 women, and that has left a hole in my heart because I do virtual, but it, as we know it, it's not the
It's not the
same as,
same. Yeah.
yeah, being in person and being connected so intimately. So yeah, I will be doing pop-up events wherever I'm led to, wherever I'm called to. And so many people are like, where's next? I'm like, wherever my soul is calling me. So it's it's been very expansive so far, and I'm excited to see what happens next.
That's so beautiful. And where do you see yourself going? What lines are you already planning to connect with? Because I know you already have your Google Maps, your Airbnbs kind of laid out for your trip, but you are taking it, I guess, day by day and not really, it, because that's how I end up traveling too, where if I go to Peru or anywhere else, it's kind of day by day. You book one Airbnb, and then from there kind of figure out the plan as it goes.
Yeah, so yeah, I was in Denver, and I remember you sharing and saying, "How is your business in Denver?" Because my
Mhm.
moon was squaring my purpose, or something was
It was
squaring.
I remember it was disharmonious, yes. And you
Yes,
were like,
and I
oh
was
my
like,
gosh, that's why. Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh," but I was so connected to the land and the ancestors, so,
Hmm.
there was still that a piece there, but it wasn't helping my career and what
Yeah,
I'm
your
really here to
purpose.
do. So, it's funny because I yeah, so I've been to Crestone, which is in Colorado, which is
Mm.
another spiritual vortex, and I'm now in Taos, which you shared, New Mexico, which is another spiritual vortex, and I remember you sharing with me that New Mexico has a lot of lines in it for me. I know Venus for
Yeah, for
love,
love.
Jupiter for luck, I think, and
Yeah,
then
for
something for
abundance.
purpose. Yeah,
Right.
abundance. And I feel it already. I've been here a few days and just have more traction in my community, more, yeah, more soul aligned clients coming in. I feel more aligned in my morning rituals. I feel that the planetary energy, right? I feel that deep, deep connection. And it's interesting because I think there's such a misconception that, oh, no matter where we are, we can set our environment. And I remember believing that for a long time, like, oh, you can, have the chaotic environment around you and still be at peace. But there is, as we know, I mean, it's your job now, your purpose to help people realize that an environment can really significantly impact your life. So, yeah, I'm on a week to week basis. So, I'm in New Mexico now, and then I'll be traveling to, it's mostly the West. I'm feeling really called
Hmm.
to the West right now. It's funny, right? I don't have any lines on the East Coast.
Right. And that
When I was
happens with a lot
there,
of people where it's like it's a complete neutral zone. And it's like, wait, am I meant to be here? I'm like, like you could take it however you want, but most of your energy's on the West Coast, so maybe take a trip out there.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
like, it's so funny how our souls choose these paths, right? That I was
mhm.
there for 31 years, and now, yeah, just the West, right? Arizona has been calling me back. I was in Sedona years ago, but now as I'm on this journey and awakening and working with the land, it's such a different energy. And Arizona, definitely will be spending more time here in New Mexico in the spring as it gets warmer.
Yeah.
I know I also had a line in Palm Springs. I think you said the
Mhm.
moon energy,
Probably
which
like
is
near
like,
Coachella. Yeah, so you'd feel at home and
yeah.
yeah, more like of an emotional, yeah,
And I
central
kind of feel
area.
that right now. It's winter, right? It's
Mhm.
January as we're recording this, and I'm reminding myself to take it slow, right? I just came out of a very long-term partnership, and from September till December was a lot of healing for me, a lot of cocoon and taking my time. And I still feel that now. I feel that momentum. I feel myself rebuilding my foundation. And
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm being called to home energies
Mm-hmm.
right now of New Mexico, of Palm Springs, and I think Las Vegas too. I'm going to be going to Vegas because my
Okay.
soul is like, I need some sun. Like we got to
Yes.
get some sunshine. So
Definitely.
I have always said I'm never going to Vegas because I always associate it with what
Mm-hmm.
it's usually associated with. But as we know, if we have a different lens of life, we'll begin seeing different things, right? I can go get a massage. I can find
Exactly.
spirituality wherever I go. So I will be going there. And that was the hit I received last night of that emotional healing, right? That home energy is what my soul needs until the springtime, until
Yeah, and
the
it's almost like you want to go into like Mama Earth's, like, you know,
mm,
arms, like come and just rest. Yeah.
oh yes. Oh, I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that came to me last night of yeah, just be held, Michelle.
Yeah.
Take it slow. Yes, clients are coming in and you get to rest. You get to relax your nervous system after what you've quantum leaped into, right? What you've expanded and up leveled, because we know there's always that integration period. So I think, yeah, if anyone's here listening and they haven't had a session yet, it really helps you see where you need certain things, right? What places will hold you in certain energies to best serve your now moment.
Exactly. And even planning out, in the future, if you're trying to find a place, to finally settle down, because we tend to be, a lot of my clients are the endless wanderers, and they're like, I just want to find that place of home, where I feel belonging, because we're all seeking belonging. So I definitely love guiding people down that route. But you mentioned something very interesting about the environment, and that's why I incorporate Ayurveda into my services, where you understand your body a little more, and that's why you tend to, you figure out, what climate you're actually meant to be in. If we're pitta, we're meant to be in a cooler environment because we're very fiery, or if we're vata or kapha, we tend to gravitate towards warmer environments. I forget if you were more pitta or vata kapha, but it seems like you're more in like that mild weather.
Yeah, Vata. So I actually manifested a retreat in Maui in December, a
That's
Kundalini
awesome.
yoga retreat. And that Mama Maui, she held me. That humidity, the
Mm.
warmth, my body just relaxed. Like I think that was the best sleep I've had since the summer. It was just so healing and the magic there was potent. So yeah, the environment is really like I love humidity. I feel held in the humidity, the heated
Yeah.
yoga, like hot yoga, like and I know some people can't handle that. So
And for
yeah, the
Vata, that
environment.
makes sense, where it's more, yeah, you're more dry. And then to complement it, yeah, humid, warm weather is the best environment. So that's beautiful. Yeah, but tell me a little bit about Maui and like how you ended up there. Did you have lines there? Did we look at Maui? I forget if Hawaii was one of the
I think
places.
I remember asking you, it's
Yeah,
I think the mainland, but I guess all of Hawaii, right? Because I think
right.
you say it's like about 150 miles or so.
Yeah.
I think I have the sun there, which
Oh,
makes
wow. Yes. So yeah, it's meant to be that place to be recognized and seen for your work. So and you were seen.
maybe
You
a
were seen and
retreat.
recognized. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
That's wow.
That story was magical. So people are like, how are you traveling? Like, how are you being led places? I was in Denver, staying with friends, figuring out my life. And right after Thanksgiving, I went to a place in Colorado, like a ski town with a girlfriend, and we were just there for a couple of days. And then she gets a call from her mentor who's in Sedona and is like, I'm sick. I can't host my retreat in Maui. Can you co-facilitate with someone else? And she's asking my friend. And she hangs up the phone and is like, Michelle, I've never done this before. Don't know. I'm like, oh, we're going. Like, I'm
Wow.
coming with you. Like, I just saw us there. I saw us being there. I saw her teaching and facilitating, and she's been a student and friend of mine. And it's almost like I was also called there to one, heal and to receive, because I'm usually the one teaching and facilitating.
Mhm.
One, to heal and receive, and then also to hold space for her as she steps into the teacher role. So
Right.
it was, she gets the call Monday, I think, and we booked flights for Thursday night. It was magical. Like,
Yeah,
and
because
I
as
saw signs.
as I was following you, I was like, oh my goodness, like how did this just manifest like overnight? I'm like, oh my god, and it literally did.
It was magic. And I said to the universe, I'm like, if this is what you're bringing to me as I am answering the call of my soul, more of this, please. Like the magic, the spontaneity, the trusting. And it occurred within a couple of days, and there was an open spot for me. And we were there for, I think the retreat was 6 days. So it was Kundalini yoga, which I've just recently gotten into.
I love Kundalini.
It was
Yeah.
just magical. Saw the whales, cried with them. It
Mm.
was just, it was one of the most magical weeks of my life. And I just felt so held there. So yeah, that was not planned. And now that I look back, and this is funny too, because the signs are always there, right? But our mind will be like, no, like I had just bought a car, right? So Maui's an island. I'm like, there's no way. I was seeing Hawaii plates in Colorado. And I know. And I didn't realize this till after the retreat. I'm like, oh, it was calling me. But I was like, no way. Like I have a car now. I'm only doing mainland. And then I'm on a run and I see a cloud that's shaped like a whale. And I have a picture of it somewhere. And it's like the whales were calling, right? Maui, her energy, the volcano was calling me. So that's the free spirit in me of just trusting and trusting where you're led, which I think is so
Mm.
important for all of us, taking the leaps, honoring the transitions, honoring what's coming up for us. And because nothing grows in our comfort zone, right? And I think that's what's so amazing about your sessions and about what you do, is that you help others see that they can take that leap, that they can trust where they're led, right? Because I know you've shared with me too how, yeah, you say like, oh, give me 3 places. And most of the time, at least 1 or 2 of those places that people intuitively give you are where some lines are. So
Right, right.
yeah, I think what did I said, New Mexico, Costa Rica has also been
Hmm.
calling, which has
Yes.
that environment like Maui. And then I think the third was Italy. And I have lines in all 3 places. So
Yeah,
it's magic.
and I believe we looked at Colombia for some reason, and you are half Colombian, and I think you're moonline. I've been recently noticing this, like ancestral energy for some reason
Mm.
is showing up as a moonline for many people. So yeah, I'll ask them like, do you have any ancestors in that particular place? And like, yes, like, we'll be in like in Japan somewhere, and they're like, yes, my grandmother's from there. Or and for me, I think I have some like going through Spain and some other places, not necessarily like where my parents are from in Guatemala, but yeah, it's very interesting how these lines, show up in our life. So, but
I
yeah,
have to get there
yeah,
too.
but about the signs, I had signs before I went to Egypt this summer
Mm.
where there was this dolphin retreat that kind of appeared on out of nowhere. And my friend, she was interviewing someone that's a dolphin communicator, and she's going to be on the podcast very soon too. But she's an amazing person that communicates with dolphins. And I'm like, okay. And at the time, I was also learning Egyptian Arabic, and this retreat was going to be in Egypt. I'm like, no way, like what are the like how is everything like combining? And I had always grown up, watching dolphins and, wanting to connect with them. So it was just a beautiful experience. And yeah, definitely just watching the signs, like you never know. Your logical brain will try to, swat them down, like what, no, that's like, why are you going all the way over there? But and a lot of people were like, why don't you just go to Florida or Hawaii, or why over there? And I'm just meant to go there. And I was meant to connect with my Pluto energy, like all those spiritual like realm, like very introspective energies, because it was just me and myself. Like that was it for that trip, and really going deep into my throat chakra. It was really about healing my throat chakra on that trip. So, and now this podcast is born. So yeah. I think something was untapped and opened. So yeah.
That's amazing. You just reminded me too, Vegas also has Pluto energy for me, the transformation. So
yes.
Yeah, that death, rebirth, right? And it's perfect, right? It's winter time. What a beautiful time to reflect and be introspective and allow the things to be released that no longer serve us. So it's funny though that no wonder I've had resistance to Vegas, right? That transformative energy, that because I just only associated with it with what the media sees it as. But yeah, it's exciting. You've given me that roadmap, right? Of like, here's what's possible. Here's where energies are. And I also love so much the fact that we don't always have to physically be in those places. Like I watched over the winter break, I watched Under the Tuscan Sun.
Oh, yes.
That movie, which is also, that same energy that I've been moving through. And I think I have, Venus energies in Tuscany. So I love that relationship. Aspect. Yeah, just like tapping in, and how you've shared like, finding crystals or jewelry or eating the food of those places. That's really cool.
Yeah, like working through the senses, the 5 or 6 senses, right? And even trying to like lucid dream or astral project to these places, if that's, in your practice to do. But simply meditating, right? Like taking a picture and just meditating on these places allows you to connect. So, oh, so beautiful. So yeah, so tell me a little bit about your offerings, any things that are coming up for you that you want to share with the audience.
Yeah, so I'm kind of in transition right now, as we know, right? As we shift and we pivot and up level and change our businesses, our offerings change. But right now I have a virtual Reiki sessions. So these are energy healing sessions. They're also coaching sessions. They're really tailored to the client. So I have those available. I have my women's monthly membership, which is a rolling enrollment, and that is a membership for women coming out of the spiritual closet, on the spiritual path, no matter where you are on the awakening journey. And we have ceremonies monthly, we have guest speakers, we have an online portal of meditations. And I am doing a 3-day series, a free series, February 1st, about mind, body, and soul. And that's just for everyone, back to basics, like really coming back to ourselves, coming back to our foundation. I'm really about the foundation right now, as I'm rebuilding my foundation. And I will be creating offerings around holding space, really stepping more into my leadership role, helping other leaders step into their purpose. So that's what's moving through me right now.
That's so beautiful. And your medicine is so necessary in this world at this moment, especially as people feel stuck and they see your journey as you're moving through things and also moving through the world. So thank you so much for sharing your experience and for being here. So so thank you for being on today. And remember, lineage goes beyond your ancestors. You're meant to connect to the cosmos so you may finally find your cosmic family. So until next time, I'll see you on the other side. Thank you for listening to Cosmic Roadmap, If you're curious about astrogeography and where you're meant to be on the planet, go to cosmicroadmap.com to download your free passport to purpose. You can also book a session with me where we can explore your own cosmic roadmap and chart your next destination in business, love, and life.